One of these players was supposed to be Dirk Nowitzki 2.0, but is now working as a part-time DJ. Another was drafted above Carmelo Anthony and is now busy drinking with truck drivers and tending cattle. But all of them were high draft picks, supposed to dominate the NBA. Now, they're known more for being some of the biggest letdowns in league history. These are the stories of some of the most prolific NBA busts, starting with the number 1 overall pick of the 1998 draft.
The Los Angeles Clippers select Michael Olowokandi from University of Pacific.
Michael Olowokandi had the weirdest path to the NBA of any player who was ever selected first overall. Olowokandi was born into a rich Nigerian family, and he spent most of his youth living in England, where basketball is one of the least popular sports. Michael first touched a basketball when he was 17, and it was completely by accident after he and some friends found an old basketball in the closet of their high school gym. Because he was 7'1", mobile, and athletic, it wasn't a surprise that Olowokandi was better at basketball than his friends. But when he got to college, he had nobody to play with since his university didn't even have a basketball team. But Olowokandi was determined to play, and on his 20th birthday, he opened up a catalog with a list of 3,000 universities in the US and just randomly selected the University of Pacific in Stockton, California. Olowokandi then called their athletic department, told them he was 7'1" and 265 pounds, and then offered to pay tuition himself if they allowed him to play. Pacific was a small basketball program that hadn't made the NCAA tournament in over a decade. So, when a 7-footer called them and offered his services and the tuition money he was willing to pay himself, there was no reason for them not to accept. Olowokandi arrived on campus in 1995, and initially, it was painfully obvious that he didn't have any experience in organized basketball, as he averaged only 4 points per game. However, during the next 2 seasons, Olowokandi, nicknamed Candyman, steadily improved, and as a senior he averaged 22 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game, as there were very few players in the NCAA that could match his size and athleticism. And in the 1998 draft that featured Vince Carter, Paul Pierce, Dirk Nowitzki, Antoine Jamison, and many other quality players, the Clippers selected Candyman first overall. The Clippers hoped Olowokandi would be the second coming of Hakeem Olajuwon, but as his NBA career went along, it became pretty obvious that Olowokandi had nothing except size and athleticism. Since he was already rich and didn't have the pressure to perform, Candyman treated basketball like a hobby. He wasn't willing to work to become a better player, and he was acting like a spoiled brat in the locker room. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, whom the Clippers had hired specifically to work with Olowokandi, bashed Michael for not being able to handle constructive criticism and called him an athletically gifted washout. Somehow, Candyman